To the news at 9. Now, amongst the thousands of mourners was American civil rights activist Rev Jesse Jackson, who shared a very close relationship with Mama Winnie. And we do have the honour of having him in our studio here in Johannesburg. And welcome back to South Africa, Rev Jesse Jackson. Thank you very much for your time. Reverend, you've described in the many tributes that you've made to Mama Winnie as someone who was an icon, who had a heart to keep the struggle for freedom alive. Talk to us about some of your fondest memories with her.
I was in Memphis, Tennessee, commemorating the 5th anniversary of Dr. King's assassination. Last week we heard that Sister Winnie had made her transition, the mother of the nation. And the parallels are there. We love martyrs. We attack martyrs. We attack marchers. Because martyrs do not threaten us. Marchers disturb the comfortable, and they comfort the disturbed. They keep us off balance. But martyrs are in another zone. And Mommy is in another zone now. And we're healed by her stripes. When I was here in 1979, at one of the darkest hours of apartheid, she was banned at that time. I got notes from her. She was banned and had been exiled in jail and all of that.
Yeah.
And yet, through all of that, now she's the mother of a new nation, because she paid her dues. And I would urge, as we move toward the next dimension of this struggle, we must forgive, redeem, and move on, because in her we lost a lot. That's why there's so much pain. We lost a lot. Yeah. There's an awful lot left. She left more than she brought. She left more than she found.
Talk to us about some of your fondest memories with her, perhaps, that we may not have been privy to.
Well, certainly when I was in 1979, and it was just such a, I remember things was so tense. I first got to the airport. I was invited by Frank Chicane, really, in the South African Council of Churches. And I was naive enough to think I could kind of ease into the country. And the big bevy press member at the airport. And they said, "Why are you here?" I said, "I'm here to visit friends." Yeah. "Why are you here?" "I'm here to visit churches." "Why are you really here? What do you think about our politics?" I said, "Well, human rights for all human beings, measure human rights by 1 yardstick." That's it. And the attack began. We went from Port Elizabeth to Durban to Joburg, Soweto, and the Crossroads and all of that. Yeah. And she was banished, but I got a note from her saying, "Fight on." And so the fact that she, in the darkest hour, she was that light. When Nelson Mandela and Sisulu and the lot were in Robbins Island, and Oliver Tambo was in the States and in Europe, and Thabo Mbeki getting his training, he was in Europe, and Tris Honey had been killed. In the darkest hour of fear and concession, really, it was her light that shone so brightly, and so that's why she. If God gave us as a gift Jesus, the Savior, and gave us Moses' mother, a leader, he gave South Africa a mother. So today the world has lost a freedom fighter. Yeah. But South Africa has lost a mother. So where our heart used to be, there's a hole now. With the heart of the healer, we would take her lesson of never surrendering, not giving up, and holding on. We will be a better nation because she came this way.
Reverend Jackson, you did say that she had a spirit of fighting on. And I really want to look at some of the similarities between the struggle in South Africa as well as the struggle in the United States of America. If we look at what Mama Winnie stood for, she being coined as the mother of the nation, you also had the likes of Mama Rosa Parks back in the 50s, who herself defied white rule, where she did not want to give up her seat for a white passenger.
She defied a law above the driver's head, red, colored from the rear, white from the front. Yeah. And she was arrested, not jailed really, but arrested. Yeah. And she won the case a year later. You cannot compare what she did with what Winnie Mandela did. I mean, the banishment, the prison, the exile. She sat there with her babies and watched them sentence her husband on the premise of apartheid, the lifetime they would never see their father again. And she didn't concede and run in the corner and be a kind of quiet mother. She emerged as, "I will see him again. He'll be free. The nation will be free." So that we saw birth pains. We heard some pain today. We saw some agony today, because there's been a lot of pain in birthing a nation, but the new nation is here. in large measure because there's no honor, whether it's named the airports, whatever it is, can be done for her. And I hope that we never look at the next dimensions of the apartheid struggle. Because now the political apartheid has been won, the humiliation is over. There's economic apartheid in terms of who controls the banks and the media and the land and the shipping. There are layers that we're free but not equal. And many of our freedom allies will not be our economic allies. And that's the next stage of the struggle.
Well, you have the mother of the nation here in South Africa, and you also have the mother of modern-day civil rights movement. That's what Mama Rosa was also coined as or celebrated as. If you look at the struggles of women today, why is it, do you think, that we still find in your country as well as in mine, where women are still not recognized the same way that their male counterparts are? Were the struggles of these two women, Mama Winnie and Mama Rosa Parks, all in vain, perhaps?
The change has been coming slowly, overcoming patriarchy, but it's definitely coming. I mean, the young lady, 9 years old, named Linda Brown, she filed a lawsuit to end legal segregation. And when Rosa Parks, and they asked Mrs. Parks, why didn't you go to the back of the bus? She said, I was testing the suit filed by a 9-year-old. She won, not just the book, she won that lawsuit the next year. Dr. King came out of that struggle. So really a young girl and a young woman started that struggle. Then the Little Rock Nine of 1957, led by a female, Daisy Bates. The woman led that struggle, so that women are now assuming their rightful place, not as supporters, but as leaders. Clearly, there'll be a woman president of this country. In the last election, Hillary Clinton won by 3 million votes. Should have been won in America by now. But women now are assuming the rightful place, not just as supporters, but as leaders.
Reverend, just before we wrap up, I have to ask, you know, the generation of Mama Winnie and the generation of Mama Rosa Parks were very conscious, and you have a new generation now that is fighting similar battles here in South Africa as well as in America. The thorny issue of race. What do you think that the youth, the new generation, can take from the fight of remarkable women such as Mama Winnie, Madikizela Mandela, and those who continue to fight the issue of race in your country?
You know, as I looked at that stadium, I wonder, are there any more people living or dying that they could fill that stadium again? That's maybe one of the last forces that could fill that stadium with this expression of thank you, love you, need you, miss you, and you paved the way for us. But the outer layer of apartheid racism was so ugly, it was so humiliating. Walking on the other side of the street, you couldn't use a hotel, motel, park. When I came here, they wanted me to be an honorary colored citizen in 1979. You couldn't use the toilet downtown. I came to the airport, the only black person that had the broom or mop. There's a whole new nation, and yet we find now that that's just the outer layer of racism. The epidermis, the political humiliation is over.
That's right.
The legal humiliation is over. You look at who controls the media, who has the power to judge right and wrong, who has that kind of power, who has banking power, who has land power, who has agriculture power, who has the controlling pension power. And so there are layers to go. And that's why when young people rise up saying, we bargain for more than this, they're right. But we had to go through this layer to get to the next layer. I think that you sit in South Africa, one of the last vestiges from Nkrumah down to Mandela was a huge half-century of struggles to overcome colonialism, occupation, slavery. But now you're here. And I would urge the young South Africans, don't self-destruct, don't self-degrade, don't surrender. Use those opportunities that you now have to use your minds to build a new and even greater South Africa. South Africa's best days are ahead of it.
South Africa's best days are ahead of it.
Indeed.
Thank you very much for your time. American civil rights activist, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who we certainly have the pleasure of having having you in our studios here in Johannesburg. Thank you very much.
Ramaphosa was fantastic today.
Cyril Ramaphosa was fantastic.
And so was Zini. Ooh, wasn't she awesome today?
I could talk to you for the next 30 minutes, Reverend. Thank you very much for your time. Well, let's move on now.